should start with that. Oh, it's the dampness. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Before I get into the opening remarks, I'd just like to do some introductions. My name is Stan Komorek. I will be chairing this afternoon. My fellow committee members, on my left is Natalia Popovic. Also on my left is Donald Taylor. On my right is Laura Alderson, and also on my right is Bill Dalton. I'd also like to introduce Barbara Bertozik, who is our Deputy Secretary and Treasurer and Manager of the Etobicoke section for the Committee of Adjustment on my extreme left, and then Barbara's staff in front of us. So in terms of opening remarks, the Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that apply to property, permissions to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and consents to sever property to create new lots. Our land acknowledgement: we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Our procedure this afternoon: the Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid and in-person virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, while others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the City of Toronto Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those wanting to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connected with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during the 5-minute allotted speaking time. All other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during your video appearance. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, as the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions, and now only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons, and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. I will go through each item in the order listed on the agenda. When an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are asked to advise the chair should you wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for discussion. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you're reaching the 5-minute mark. As mentioned earlier, any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing today. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make their presentation. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions. As mentioned previously, the committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised in order to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Secondly, individuals either in support or opposition of the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we ask those in the committee room first and then those online. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has the opportunity to rebut, but only those issues that were previously raised by those speakers. When this will mark the end of the discussion, the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Okay, now we can head to the top of the agenda. Are there any declarations of interest by committee members or staff for the afternoon session? Okay, seeing none. And do we have any deferrals for the afternoon? I don't believe so. Thank you. No. Okay. So then we'll head right into the first item for the afternoon, which is item 16, A, B, and C. This is 39 Ash Crescent and is an application to obtain consent to sever the lot into 2 undersized residential lots and to construct 2 semi-detached dwellings with attached garages. The proposal would result in 5 variances for each of the proposed new buildings. And we have a number of departments requesting conditions. Heritage is requesting 4 conditions in the event of approval. Planning is not in favor of the variances being requested. Forestry is requesting denial or in the alternative conditions 1, 2, and 3. And engineering and construction services has advisory comments as well as conditions recommended.
Mr. Chair, before we start, the applicant has requested that the planner speak as well, so they will be sharing the 5 minutes.
Okay, are they both in person?
Yes.
Okay, and Terry Kaufman is the applicant, is the agent. Okay, and that's you.
That's me.
Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
No, the mic's not on.
That's better?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is it my turn now?
Please.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a long time since I've been here, at least 25 years, and nothing has changed. The building is the same, except the faces are different, and I'm glad that we're in front of the committee. So good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members and staff. We have an application here that we've been working with staff at planning for the last couple of months, and I was under the impression, I could be wrong now, that you're reading a letter that says planning is asking for denial because we have worked with the planning department in regard to a product that we've built probably, I don't know how many times in the city of Toronto and the city of Mississauga, the exact same thing. So planning has said that as far as they were concerned, they were in favor of the application the last time I talked to them, and I was under the impression that anybody who has anything to say about the application would be posted on AIC, and we've been checking that on a daily basis, not once, probably twice, and making sure that we can answer any questions for that. And we have not seen anything in the AIC or on the AIC that says anything about planning. So we have talked to the tree department and have talked to our arborist that is in cooperation with what the tree department is doing. Talked to the heritage department. There's been nobody else other than the people that have written in as neighbors. So I can only say this is a very simple application. It's very close to the bylaw. The variances are very minor. As I said, we've built it umpteen times in the city of Toronto with no problem at all. And I'll let my planner, Jim Kutsopoulos, explain exactly what we want to do. I think you have it in front of you, but I think it deserves an explanation. So thank you for allowing me to speak for a moment, and I'll turn this over to Jim Kutsopoulos. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, good afternoon. As Terry says, Jim Kutsopoulos, 27 Fieldflower Crescent in Richmond Hill. And Mr. Chair, I do want to follow up on some of the comments that Terry made. We did do an analysis in terms of trying to establish the, obviously, the character of the area. So we did do a, what we called a built form analysis. We took a 500-meter radius of the surrounding context. And within that radius, Mr. Chair, we determined that this neighborhood does possess a considerable diversity in low-rise residential land uses and built form. There are numerous three-story apartment buildings in height, and I'm not going to go through the addresses, Mr. Chair, but if you were to look at it on 25th Street, Birchley Avenue, 28th Street, Arcadian Circle, as well as 33rd Street. And Mr. Chair, getting closer to the actual location of the subject lands, we have existing semi-detached dwelling at 28 and 30 Ash, which is approximately 50 meters from the subject lands. 1A Ash, which is about 170 meters. 10A Ash, which is about 135 meters. 102 Alder Crescent, 350 meters. And then there's Muskoka Avenue, 14, which is about 500 meters. And also, Mr. Chair, there are some examples within the surrounding context that provide for similar sized lots, but they do accommodate single detached dwellings. And lastly, Mr. Chair, from a character perspective, if you were to take a drive strictly on Ash, you will notice two very prominent designs, and those are number 2 Ash, which is about 50 meters to the east, and number 29 Ash, which is about 175 meters to the east, that notably provide for very similar, not exactly, but very similar design and overall massing as you have before you, Mr. Chair, for the proposal on the subject lands. So, Mr. Chair, and just going through obviously the policy regime that we took under consideration, we start obviously with the overall umbrella, the provincial planning statement of 2024. That, Mr. Chair, in our opinion, the proposal before you contemplates efficient infill development that contributes to appropriate increase in density that would not cause any environmental or public health and safety issues. It provides for development in an existing residential lot, which will efficiently use the land, resources, infrastructure, and public service.
To wrap up, if you can, I do have some questions for you, so don't go away.
Oh, no problem. And it supports a mix and range of residential units and lot sizes. We also, Mr. Chair, obviously had to look at the section.
Could you wrap up, please?
And overall, Mr. Chair, we looked at the official plan. The FSI increase, Mr. Chair, in this case, you have to consider that its massing is in conjunction with the fact that the proposal satisfies and complies with the maximum dwelling height, the minimum rear yard setback, the minimum side yard setbacks, the minimum front yard setbacks. So the FSI, Mr. Chair, has to be regarded in those regards in terms of its appropriateness.
Okay, I'm going to get you to address that through my question, and I'm going to ask you to stop right now.
Okay.
Okay? So I think I want to come back to a comment that the previous presenter mentioned, is that they knew nothing from planning, and I just want to clarify. We have a report from planning dated April the 9th, which basically states that they feel that the consent is appropriate. However, I'll just read what they say. The consent is consistent with subsection 5124 of the Planning Act. However, the associated minor variances do not pass the 4 tests under subsection 45(1) of the Planning Act. So they obviously have some issues with the variances you're requesting. I know there's only 5 variances for each.
So, Mr. Chair.
But I'm surprised that you guys are not aware of that, and that, like,
Okay.
where's the disconnect?
Maybe Mr. Kaufman can, my understanding, Mr. Chair, I came in later into this process. That was the April. However, the applicant did resubmit an application that notably reduced the overall FSI numbers, I believe, from 1.13 down to 0.7 and 0.73 respectively. That's my understanding, Mr. Chair. So I don't recall seeing a further staff comment other than that April version. So
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have anything further from planning, and normally we would have a pre-circulation memo that says that, you know, they're okay with it being scheduled. And in this case, the recommendation is that they're not okay with it being scheduled, and until we see something else from them, we're just going to assume that they're in the negative. Well, if you can speak to it, then please do.
When we began,
We ask,
I'm sorry?
should only be one person answering the question. So is it going to be Mr. Kaufman or Mr. Katsopoulos?
Well, it's your choice. You just choose which one is going to be.
I didn't know, first of all, that we had a limit. I've been coming to the Committee of Adjustment since 1971. I've never been told I got 5 minutes or 4 minutes. I come just to explain myself.
I just told you at the beginning.
I'm sorry?
I just told you at the beginning in the opening remarks.
No, I understand you said that, but my planner spent a lot of time going through all of this information that we've gone to,
That's
gone
fine.
back and
It's
forth.
going to come out through the questions and answers.
Okay, so April 9th is the first submission that we did to the similar houses we just finished in Mississauga, and the architect thought that that was going to be appropriate, and however, that was not. There was other minor variances that we should go for. That was too much. So we spent over the last 2 months, up till last week, revising, going back and forth with the planning department. And my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the planning department had no comment to make, and we have gone into what they wanted, so therefore that turns into a support situation, not denial. If there's something different about that I don't know, I'd like to learn about it, because that's what I was told.
Unfortunately, there's the new way that the planning communicates with us on consents is they typically don't give us a detailed report. I wish they did, but they don't. All they've given us is basically their checklist as to whether they're okay with it going forward or not. And at this point, the only documentation we have one from February, which was saying that they didn't even think consent was appropriate at that point. But now we have, the latest one we have is from, let me just find the date again, April the 9th. And
The plans have been revised 3 times since that time. And as you know, it says that the variance that we originally requested was 1.13, and now it's down 0.699, which was what we agreed upon. So Do you want me to hold this down until I get something from planning more? I didn't know I had to do that. All I was doing was looking every day and twice a day to make sure that if there was a planning report, that I could deal with it. But we weren't given that opportunity because they said, we're done.
Well,
I don't know what else to do.
We also don't have any applicant revision pages. So we're,
so what are you proposing for your FSI now?
Point 7 is the one house.
And
Point 7.3, because there's a curve in the road, it's really the exact same size, but because of the curve in the road and the lot gets cut off,
No, that's fine.
that's what happened.
That's
But that's .699 is what we rounded it off.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That's the information we have. The problem is we have nothing after April the 9th from planning. So, I mean, another option for you, if you feel that you have planning support, is to request a deferral of this item and have something concrete from them.
I could do that. I would do that in a minute, for sure. I don't know how long it'll be before I'm back here, but I certainly will talk to the chief planner, who I talked to, the senior planner, sorry, who I've been dealing with.
Mr. Chair, I don't think a deferral would, planning's not going to provide a positive report. They don't provide reports and support, and you can't compel them to write a report. If it's not going to change the application before you, what is the point of a deferral?
Well, the point is, there's a discrepancy between what the applicant is claiming and what planning is given to us in writing.
But with all respect, sir, you see that the original variance was much higher because of the exact same house that's built in Mississauga, and their bylaws a little different.
I'm not going to get into Mississauga.
No, I'm just saying the bylaws a little bit different, but the house, we built that particular house in Toronto 25 times.
So, Barb, April 9th is the last thing we have from planning, correct?
Correct. That's in the older application, correct. That's not the right one. And then, as Barbara was saying, that's exactly correct.
So shouldn't we have a new scheduling memorandum?
You don't give it.
If the applicant made revisions and it didn't get recirculated or planning had no further comments, I'm not sure how it got scheduled, but if planning has no further comments, they're just not going to provide comments. They would have had an opportunity to provide a further report when this was scheduled and circulated to the public as well as city divisions. They've chosen not to comment any further, so they're staying silent at this point.
So the only way we can interpret that is that they feel that it's not appropriate.
No, I think they would have given you a report stating that.
Okay.
I wish I could help.
Planning will not give you a report saying we are happy with this application.
I don't expect that. But, you know, if the only thing we have from planning is a memorandum that states that should the application be scheduled and the decision is no, and that's the last correspondence we have from planning, how are we to interpret that?
But that is April the 9th, and we're talking about now May 29th. And everything else you have, which normally happens, as you know, a couple of days before, 3, 4, 5 days
Okay, I'm not
before.
asking you at this point. Thank you.
So the applicant submitted revisions on April 10th. So that's the letter you have on
we don't
file.
have any revision page
And
for that.
no, because we didn't mail anything, so there wouldn't be a revision page.
The revisions are part of the original.
Okay, I get it. All right.
We don't complicate things by giving you all the old iterations of the application, because there could be multiple, right?
Can I just clarify something with Mr. Kaufman? You also said that you were not aware of any opposition letters that had come in. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I can't see you. What did you say?
You were not aware of any opposition letters that had come in?
The only opposition letters that I had was for the trees and the heritage that we had to do with.
Can you go to the microphone, please?
You can't speak. I can't hear from. I'm sorry, I didn't hear her.
So,
Sorry.
my microphone is working. So so there are a number of letters in opposition of your application.
From the residents, yes.
Yes. So you have seen those.
I saw them all. I get every one of them.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I was asking. Thank you.
Okay, so we can go forward with the application, but it's just my pet peeve with planning, the fact that they've gone to this new format rather than doing reports. Because you're guessing at this point.
And actually, there's a question on this, and it says, should the application be scheduled? And they say very clearly, no.
Well, yeah, and that's the last correspondence we have from planning. Yeah.
I followed the procedure. I made my application.
This isn't a beef we have with you. Quite frankly, this is a beef I have with planning and the process.
I'm sorry about that.
Because we should have a memorandum saying that it should be scheduled, and then we can hear it. I mean, if it's telling me it should not be scheduled, I'm taking that as a negative report, and I don't know how else to interpret that. And Barb, if I'm missing something, please explain it to me.
I wouldn't, because they didn't comment following our circulation, so this is normal. If they normally have a comment following the last set of revisions, once we schedule it for a hearing, they provide the committee with a report. It's either refusal or with recommended conditions. In this case, they've provided nothing, which means they haven't, I would interpret it as they have nothing further to comment on.
Shouldn't there at least be an email confirming that it can now be scheduled?
No, they don't give permission to schedule. This was their recommendation based on the most recent.
So quite frankly, how do we even know that they've commented? How do we even know that they've had these interactions with the applicant?
Well, we circulate the whole package.
Okay.
They have an opportunity to comment the same as they would for a minor variance application.
Okay. Okay. I'm assuming you want to go forward?
Yes, I'm in your hands. I've done everything I'm supposed to do.
No,
If I knew that I had to do something else, I would have. I've been involved all the way through.
I'm not questioning any of that.
Right.
Just, okay. So let's go forward. We'll hear from the other deputants then, unless there's questions from panel members before we move forward.
Yeah, you mentioned, I forget who, about you did a 500-meter study. Do you have other examples looking that exist within the neighborhood with the FSI increase?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I got to just.
Do you have
step over.
other examples of similar FSI increases that you're seeking?
I'm sorry, you have to speak into the microphone. It's a virtual hearing. The public can't.
Sorry. Yeah, so I have other addresses in North York I could give you.
Okay.
I don't think North York or Mississauga is what the
No,
committee's looking for.
I'm asking in this neighborhood.
This is in Long Branch. They want examples in this neighborhood.
I don't have examples for Long Branch. I have other places in the entire city of Toronto, which is 569-2013.
Okay, but I think we're looking for a neighborhood context. So we're looking at the South Etobicoke is what we were trying to see.
Right.
You have examples in South Etobicoke.
No, I haven't done any other house in South Etobicoke. I've done in the surrounding areas. That's all I.
Okay, we're not necessarily looking at ones that you've done personally, but other.
Yes, I
other
think my
developments.
planner gave you examples. For example, the houses on Shamrock, there's 6 in a row. They're all 25-foot lots. They knocked down the houses and built 25-foot lots, 6 of them. On Ash Crescent, there's 60 and 62, knocked down the 50-foot lot and built 2 25-foot lots, approved. And he gave you the other ones, which is on Ash and
Yeah, I think that's what he's asking for, is those.
27th Street, yes.
Mr. Kaufman,
There's about
he's
32 of
asking
them.
He's asking you if there are similar floor space index approvals in this neighborhood. So not the severances, floor space index,
Yeah, I
the
believe that.
size of the home.
I believe that those houses that are on the 25-foot lots have similar floor space index. So for
But you
example,
don't have the numbers. That's what
60 and 62 for sure. They went to
No.
T-Lab.
he is asking you for the concrete numbers of what their floor space index was.
Oh, I believe it was around 0.65.
As well as minimum lot area?
Minimum lot area also was 762 by 30.48 approximately. Ours is a little bigger.
But what are the addresses?
60 and 62 Ash.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I'd like to move to the deputants then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the chambers to speak to this issue, or is everyone online, Thomas?
So the rest of the people are online.
Okay, so I think we've got Andy Scholes on the first in the list.
Good afternoon. My name is Andy Scholes. I live at 12 Jasmine Avenue, Long Branch, about 2 blocks south of the property at 39 Ash Crescent. I'm a board member of the LBNA. We have a mission statement at the LBNA to protect, celebrate, enhance the neighborhood in the village of Long Branch. I'll be referring to two articles, the forestry report of May 13th and the LBNA letter of objection from Judy Gibson on May 24th. I'm here to speak in opposition to this application, which plans to sever a lot at 39 Ash into 2 undersized lots and build an oversized semi-detached home across the 2 substandard lots. These oversized homes have numerous variances against them, which should get them refused by this committee. I'm here to focus on the impact on the environment of the removal of so many trees as part of this application. One only needs to look at the revised plan for this bill to observe that the footprint of number 39A will be built over at least 2 trees with a third under the planned driveway. Another 4 trees, at least, are so close to the west wall or the driveway they will likely not survive the build. The applicant makes no mention of any of these trees in his tree protection bylaw declaration. The forestry report does identify 2 trees closest to the road as paper birch, measuring 33 and 32 centimeters diameter at breast height, and protected by the MCC 813 Article 13 private tree bylaw. This report includes a picture of the 2 trees and further points out the permanent loss of viable planting space should this build go ahead. Ms. Gibson's letter of objection from the LBNA regarding trees points out the loss of the tree canopy that will result from the removal of these trees and other trees on the lot. The letter identifies that only 11.8% of Toronto's trees are greater than 30 centimeters at breast height. These mature trees benefit the neighborhood greatly, cleaning the air, providing shade, and eliminating heat islands, as well as providing a sound buffer to the noise on Lakeshore Boulevard. Ms. Gibson's letter further identifies the protected tree, a city tree, in the front yard of number 39 that will be placed in peril since the applicant has filed no arborist report or plan to protect any trees on the property. This is irresponsible and will result in a loss of many trees on this property. The forestry report identifies the City of Toronto's official plan, section 3.4. The Natural Environment Policy 1D states, to support strong communities, a competitive economy, and a high quality of life, public and private city building activities and change to build the environment, including public works, will be environmentally friendly based on preserving and enhancing the urban forest by providing suitable growing environments, increasing tree canopy coverage and diversity especially of long-lived native large shade trees, and regulating the injury and destruction of trees. From Ms. Gibson's letter on page 3, the 2019 Master of Forest Conservation student from the University of Toronto studied the impact of residential intensification on the urban forest in Long Branch. Specifically, they looked at 47 properties in the neighborhood and found that there was a 56% loss in tree canopy on the redeveloped lots and 24% canopy loss on the adjacent properties. The dramatic loss is further confirmed by the City of Toronto's data showing that Long Branch has experienced the greatest tree canopy loss, a loss of 43.4% in all of Ward 3. This great loss occurring in a neighborhood that is known for large lots and an abundance of trees on our streets. Applications like 39 Ash are destroying this valuable green infrastructure. The official plan refers repeatedly to the importance of protecting green space from development pressures. Chapter 2 lists protecting neighborhoods, green spaces, and natural heritage features. 2.3.2 Part 6 states environmental sustainability will be promoted in neighborhoods by investing in the naturalization and landscaping improvements, tree planting, and preservation. There's other excerpts that are listed in Ms. Gibson's letter, but on the last couple of pages, there are some decisions by TLAB from Long Branch properties that had tree protection featured prominently in the decisions of the various chairs. This application will result in immediate negative environmental impact and loss of tree canopy, which is contrary to the policies of the official plan. The tree canopy on Ash has already suffered a tremendous loss with other builds further west on the street. The City of Toronto aspires to grow the tree canopy cover of the city to 40%. Clearly, that is not happening in Long Branch. Urban Forestry has reviewed this application and is recommending the committee deny the variances for this severance, as well as these variances that will require the removal of healthy bylaw protected trees and permanent loss of planting space. 8 letters of objection from nearby neighbors further emphasizes this concern. Some of these neighbors are here this afternoon. The LBNA would respectfully ask this committee to refuse the consent to sever and the numerous variations attached to this application at 39 Ash Crescent.
Andy, thank you. We're
Thank
going
you
to get
very
you.
much.
Okay. Is Brian Bailey online?
Yes. Is there any questions for Andy or?
I doubt. Any questions? No.
My name is Brian Bailey. I'm a director of the Long Branch Neighborhood Association, and I live at 6 Meaford Avenue. And I'm here to request the refusal of the application. This application is contrary to the official plan policy 4.1.5, specifically policy B, prevailing size and configuration of lots. Policy C, prevailing density and dwelling type of nearby residential properties. Policy E, garages, and policy G, rear yard setbacks. If staff could pull up the LBNA's letter of May 22nd and go to page 2, I'd just like to refer to some points that are made there. We'd like to point out, on page 2, we'd like to point out recent decisions against severance on Ash on the adjacent block outlined in yellow, and in the broader context outlined in purple. And if you go to the next page, 3, we've listed significant decisions in the study area of similar undersized lot frontages. We would also like to point out the decisions for FSIs in the immediate and broader context. None were near what is being requested on this application. There's been no decision to sever in the study area since the introduction of OPA 320, which stresses the importance of prevailing characteristics, including lot frontage. Below that, on the same page, we are also pointing out facts, reports, and data that show that the growth plan in Long Branch is working to achieve growth targets. This application does not address affordable housing with every bedroom having a bathroom. This is the tip top of housing, not affordable housing. Now, if you move down to section 1 below, the LBNA completed a lot study using the 4.1.5 criteria highlighted in pink, and the 4.1.5 policies it did not meet in green. The applicant's lot study is not detailed enough and does not consider the direction and the guidelines for lot configuration, which contemplates severances if the resulting frontage is over 9 meters and does not remove large trees. Then further down in section 2, the agent did not consider the guidelines clarification that new severances that produce lots under 8 meters do not meet the intent and purpose of the bylaw, which is one of the 4 tests. In section 3 is analysis of lot frontage. Taking the guidelines clarification, we highlight lots between 9 meters and 12 meters, which the guidelines state reinforce the physical character and intent and purpose of the bylaws. In the immediate context, 54% of the prevailing frontages are bylaw compliant or larger, and 58% are guidelines compliant or larger. In the entire neighborhood, the prevailing frontage is 12 meters or larger, 89%. No severances producing frontages similar to the proposal have been approved in the study area since OPA 320 or the approval of the Long Branch neighborhood guidelines. And then going down to section 4, lot area, the proposed lot area is not prevailing. There are only 27 lots not compliant in the entire neighborhood, 4%. And then further down under density, which was, I think we already talked about, but if you look at the lots in brown, only 6 lots are above 0.7 and only 5 actually exist. None after OPA 320. Oh yeah, it's much higher up than that. Sorry. It's a long document. The prevailing FSI in the immediate context is bylaw compliant or under. Exceptions exist, but the prevailing is 0.35 FSI in the immediate and broader neighborhoods. And it's also important to note that the semi across the street at 30 and 32 Ash report an FSI of 0.48 according to city data. In section 6, we highlight the guidelines where the application fails on lot sizes, massing, placement of garages, trees, and parking. Even without the guidelines, the application fails to reinforce the prevailing characteristics. So the applicant has not submitted any lot study information which addresses the OP policies of prevailing characteristics, so they have not met their burden to prove that this meets the policies of the official plan. It fails the 4 tests, it fails the policies of the OP, the intent and purpose of the bylaws, and it's not desirable or minor. We respectfully request refusal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? No. Okay, Stephen Vella is our next speaker.
Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon, we're good.
Can you please put my letter, display my letter?
We're playing
I
that
live
up
at
right now.
42 Ash Crescent. Yes, thank you. This letter is in opposition to the development application at 39 Ash Crescent, and I'd like to give personal information and an overview of how lot severances and the destruction of mature trees have affected Ash Crescent and Long Branch in general. My name is Stephen Vella. My family and I have lived at 42 Ash Crescent, directly across from the subject site, a well-maintained 100-year-old home since 2002, and before that on Alder Crescent, also in Long Branch. Our street and neighborhood is going through development pressure. We have to send a clear message to development that variance is for lot splitting, whether it is for semi-detached or detached dwellings, that creates undersized lots, and variances for oversized dwellings and the destruction of mature trees will not be tolerated in Long Branch. 2 properties were granted severances, 58 Ash in 2015 and 56 Ash in 2016 by the OMB, before OPA 320 and the Long Branch Character Guidelines. 58 Ash, now 62, has only just been developed, and one of the properties has been on sale since June of 2024 and currently listed for $2.2 million. There is nothing affordable about this property. 62A has not even been listed. If a family would have purchased those properties in 2015-16, they would have been raising their family and contributing back to the neighborhood. Instead, the property sits in limbo. In reference to the map, I think the applicant submitted, called supporting material, the applicant has made many mistakes and misinterpretations. There are no semis at 96 and 98 and 92 and 94 25th Street. Those homes and 18 Ash went to the COA twice for a severance and was refused twice, and now has a single detached house. 68 25th Street is a legal non-conforming lot, which was a wartime bungalow that was updated. They put a second story on it. There were more issues, but time is limited. What he doesn't have documented is the majority of properties in Long Branch have less than an FSI of 0.35, which is the bylaw maximum. And the lot sizes and the majority of the lot sizes are bylaw compatible, just as Brian was mentioning. Whoever completed the map did not walk the neighborhood. There are many different housing types in Long Branch, as we have different zones, but this is 2025, and 39 Ash Crescent is an RD zone. That's why there are so many variances requested with this application. Like many older bungalows, this property was bought by a developer who, as he has told me, bought and sold many properties, and he mentioned that earlier today. It doesn't seem like good business to overspend on a property, hoping to get special permission in order to make as much money as possible sometime in the future. It is not reasonable to get permission to knock down the existing home and split the lot and overbuild as a solution to overspending. It is the responsibility of the owner to build within the guidelines set out by the city's official plan and the character guidelines. This development must be refused until a proposal is given for a home on the current 50-foot lot within the prescribed FSI with a home that matches the character of the neighborhood and does not destroy mature trees. If you can move down just a little bit. Splitting the lot into two undersized lots requires a large variance for lot frontage. Destroying mature trees goes against the city's plan to protect the tree canopy. This request has an FSI of over 0.7, which is a 200% variance. That's not minor. The other variance request for this development will likely be non-existent if the developer were building a house with a 0.35 FSI on the current 50-foot lot. None of the variance requests are minor, and I'm hoping that the COA will continue to be a strong advocate for those guidelines and refuse this proposal. Walking through my neighborhood, we see the results of severances made under the OMB. They seem so disconnected from the neighborhood, and the massing is imposing. I do not like houses looming over me as I walk down the street. Looking at the drawings for 39 Ash, the development presents as 2 stories over a garage, so 3 stories, not the 2 stories the applicant is saying. Trying to increase density one property at a time is bad planning. Increasing density for its own sake is bad planning. At the TLAB hearing for severance and overbuild at 27th Street, which was refused, the chair was commenting on the shape and flow of Ash Crescent. He said it was amazing as it looked like a ski trail. He made me smile as the curving flow of the streets in the neighborhood was one of the things that attracted my wife and I to our home. The wide lots and large trees along the
Can I get
street,
you to wrap up, please?
side yards. Just to finish this paragraph, if I could. Trees and nature are the stars, not the houses.
I'll give you one
There was a lot of
sentence.
flow and space. The ownership at 36 Ash, my neighbor has changed 3 times since 2018, and each one of those tried to sever the lot, and each one has been refused or deferred by the COA. Please continue with your support of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
And refuse this request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mariana Pelche?
Can you hear me?
We can, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Steve, for your words. I just wanted to make a comment, and I
Can we
believe
just
it
get your
might have been-
name and address before you start?
Oh, of course. Marianne Pelche. That's Pelletier, and I am a 25-year resident at 6 Ash Crescent,
Thank you.
which is about 4 houses down from 27th and Ash. So the other end of Ash, east of Steve
Okay,
Ella.
go ahead.
And, I'll make it brief. I echo what Andy said, what Steve said, and I know from personal experience in 2016, the corner of Ash and 27th, the exact same proposal was made. And my concerns were everything from the curb appeal to the trees being destroyed, lack of privacy, more traffic, And every single thing that I proposed when I put in my concerns is exactly what happened. We lost probably 3 huge trees. The houses that went up actually did go up with a variance that was not approved, but they went up anyway. And there is no privacy at all. So I have a very, very big concern about what they are proposing at this location. So I definitely support what the others, their concerns are, having gone through this experience firsthand several years ago. You want me to say more?
No, if you're done, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time, everyone. I appreciate it.
So, Mr. Chair, we have one late addition. They are present online.
Thanks, Thomas.
Vanita, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can we just get your name and address, please?
My name is Vanita Indaway, and I am a 23-year resident at 59 Ash Crescent, 4 houses away on Ash in the other direction. I pass by this property daily, so I'm quite familiar with it and with the neighborhood. I also strongly oppose the height, the scale, and the severance of this undersized lot. I know that the applicant referred to the fact that there are other units that are 3 stories in the neighborhood and multiplexes, and they are all placed in areas where they are side by each, not beside tiny bungalows, and they provide parking and space that distances them from their neighbors, which is not what we're seeing in this application. So to compare 3 stories for this application to those is not really relevant. My main concern is, the trend that you see when you take a 50-foot lot and you split it, and you literally, by bumping forward on the lot and bumping back on the lot, you create a huge wall that then overshadows the homes beside it, ruining the privacy, blocking sunlight, etc. In this case, this property has a tiny bungalow on each side, and the extension into the back of the property that they're asking for will back onto adjacent lots facing in the other direction, putting the balcony that will go off the back of the house, very close to the back door of the property behind it. And that large wall, we've had people leave the neighborhood rather than live beside that wall and that massing. It's so daunting. I live beside a lot that is a 50-foot lot, and it's empty. It's been empty for a year. So I'm very personally concerned that this trend and this effect is in my future. The 2 homes that were constructed, correctly referenced as 60 and 62, remain empty. The other lot that has a severance across the street from me has had no action on it since 2015. 90 Ash down at the other end has been empty for more than 10 years. This is purely speculation to be doing this type of work, and it's purely a profit motive that is ruining what attracts people to the neighborhood in the first place. The massing is too high, and the impact is too daunting. Now, I could repeat a lot of things that the other folks have already said in terms of measurements and severances and tree protection. I agree with all of those points. I'm not convinced at all about the tree protection zones, because we've seen too many times when people have put them up, the tree has been too badly damaged anyways. More recently, 2 houses away from me, the house at 65 Ash Crescent is sitting beside construction at 69 Ash Crescent. And the variance that was given to put that property at the property line resulted in that resident's fence and trees falling into the pit. And this is what happens when houses are built too close together on such a large scale. So I'm very concerned and hope that you won't be a part of any trend that's going to do that with the 50-foot lots that remain in the neighborhood, and for me particularly on Ash Crescent. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? No? Okay, there are no other speakers?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so if we can get the applicant back, I guess you guys can decide which one of you wants to do the rebuttal.
If you don't mind, I'd like to speak just for a minute or so and let Mr. Katsopoulos, the planner,
There's
talk
only
about a
one
couple of
person
technical
permitted
issues.
to do the rebuttal.
I'm sorry?
There's only one person permitted to do the rebuttal, so you have to pick one.
Okay. What's that? Okay, I'm going to tell you the way it is, I'm sorry. First of all, we did not come into this neighborhood to destroy it. As far as the trees are concerned, I sit on many committees through the Toronto Home Builders and the Ontario Home Builders Association, and as late as yesterday, we have a new directive coming about trees in the city of Toronto, downtown council meeting, where we are going to be meeting in late June, early July, and talking about how we're going to handle this bigger, smarter, faster directive from the Ontario government to the municipalities that want houses and want to protect trees. So for example, on this lot, we sat way back when with Dave Starkey on this new tree bylaw that's 25 years old, and it was something that we talked about 30 centimeters. So here we are on a lot that we're attempting to put up 2 semi-detached houses where you have 2 birch trees on the side of the house that are private trees, not city trees, and they are 33 centimeters, 1.1 inch more than the line and the limit. So we will have to take those 2 trees down and replace them with new trees. And we can put those trees anywhere on the lot. And it's what we intend to do, which we've done before. If there's a tree that's in the area of a side yard, we've put that in the front yard or the backyard. So we've paid for the amount that's required and also replaced a brand new tree. And we're not putting twigs, we're putting trees. So the landscape would take care of that. The most important tree, the city tree at the front, was, according to the original plan, 1.8 meters, exactly the line that allows you to be within that canopy to take the tree down or protect it. So now what we've done is we've shifted the driveway on the revised plan, which has gone to planning, which we agreed upon, and gone through the tree department, which we agreed upon, by having an arborist report, taking that tree down and moving it over, by moving the driveway over. We're 2.5 meters away, so that tree gets completely protected. The only trees we have to talk about are the 2 birch trees on the side, which we will replace. And any other trees that are in the way, it's by way of protection or injury, and the arborist will deal with that, and we will deal with the tree department. As far as the blending of this house, I believe, from what I see, that what I'm intending to put up will blend in with the neighborhood. Only increases the value of someone's house next door, not decreases. And blends in is what we want to do, not cut the neighborhood in half and drive down and see this monster-looking house, because it's not a monster. And when you're talking about 0.7 per FSI, it is so simple to look at the size of the house, which is a 2,133 square foot house that is for a family. And on the second floor, you need 2 bathrooms and 3 bedrooms. And if you cut that house down any more than what we cut it down, you're going to lose a bathroom. We don't want to go back to 1956 and line up for the bathroom in the morning. We want someone to have a house with 2 kids or whatever and be able to use the bathroom at their leisure. So that's basically what comes out on one variance. And on the other variance, the height of it is based on the fact that you can't have a house that looks like 29 Ash that has 17 steps to the front door. You can break a leg going up the first floor, never mind the next 13, 17. We're talking about 4 steps outside and 1 extra step on the inside. So for sure this is minor variances. I understand what the residents are saying. I listened to this. I've been on every committee, on every bylaw committee in the city of Toronto, so we're trying to make it appropriate for the area. That's all we're doing, nothing more than that. I thank you for your time and patience. I wish my planner could speak, but I did the best I could.
You did great. Don't go away. There could be questions.
Thank you so much.
And I just wanted to point out, I think one of the, you don't have any setback variances or any length variances on your application, right?
We don't have what, sorry?
You don't have any variances for depth or for
None whatsoever.
no side yard, no rear yard?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Any questions from panel members? No. Okay, thank you then.
We tried our best. We're only here to work together.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so any discussion? Donald?
Yeah, I'll just sort of throw a few thoughts out on the table. I just did a little bit of research on the lot frontage and area question in this immediate context. So I look at both sides of Ash Crescent between 28th and 27th Street. In those two blocks on the north and south side of Ash, there are 34 residential lots. 16, or almost half of them, have frontages and areas approximately what's being proposed here today. So in that respect, I don't see splitting this lot is going to create something that's not fitting or in keeping with this this neighborhood. With respect to the city's comment, they have said they've got no problem with the consent, but they've got undefined issues with some of the variances. I've taken a close look at the variances requested. I don't see anything being too problematic, really. So, you know, we don't know what they mean, but they've said they've got some issues. Personally, I don't have issues with the variances. Lot said about trees. My view with trees is we have a professional urban forestry department to take guidance and direction from. They've given us that guidance and direction. They've given us virtually all of their conditions to impose on this property. 1, 2, and 3. So 3's being a replacement. 1 is a city tree and 2 is private trees. So I think the forestry tree issues have been addressed. I don't see a problem with the variances, and I don't see a problem with the consent. So I guess that's where I'm coming from right now.
Thanks, John. And just to add to that, I was trying to determine whether planning still has concerns with the variances or not. And if you go by what the applicant has said, is that they've addressed their earlier concerns, but we just don't have any evidence of that from planning. Anyone else? Okay, given all of that, is anyone ready for a motion?
I'll table a single motion on both the consent and the 2 minor variances. With respect to the consent, I find the lot configuration, its size, its frontage and area, in keeping with this immediate area. I cited some of the examples on both sides of Ash Crescent between 27th and 28th. I think these lots are quite in keeping with half of what's there now. So with respect to the consent, I recommend approval, subject to, I didn't notice develop an engineering and transportation review conditions. unless somebody else did.
They
didn't
do have ECS, both advisory comments and the usual conditions of severance.
Okay, so just the usual conditions of severance and then advisory comments. Okay, so I would attach them to my motion to approve the consent. And I guess the heritage planning conditions belong to the variances.
No, for the consent.
Oh, their consent as well. So I move approval of the consent subject to the heritage planning conditions, and there are 4 of them. With respect to the variance applications, I see them as being minor and in keeping with the 4 tests under the Planning Act. I move approval of them subject to the urban forestry conditions. And I think that captures everything. So that's my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Is there a seconder? No? Okay. There was no point in me seconding it, so I'll declare that one lost. Is there anyone with another motion then?
Yeah, so counter to that, I would like to approve this, but I just can't get over the hump that we weren't provided with enough evidence to support it. And on that basis, I would move a motion for refusal because I don't believe it meets the 4 tests.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Is there a second one for that?
I would agree with Mr. Dalton that it is, I think, a slight overbuild for that particular lot. So I am going to second his motion for refusal.
Okay, Ms. Alderson, everyone in favor of that one? Okay, opposed? So the refusal motion carries 3-2. Thank you to everyone for that. Okay, our next item for the morning is 17A, 76 Harding Avenue. This is an application to obtain consent to sever the lot into 2 undersized residential lots. Forestry is requesting various conditions. Planning is okay, and there are 2 letters of support. ECS has the usual conditions of severance and additional comments. There would be, should this go forward, there are also 11 variances for each of the new lots being requested. And that's it.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I just want to provide, there's a slight spelling error on the name. It's Martin Rendell, not Rendy. He's present.
Sorry, so it's Martin?
Yeah, Rendell. It's just the I is supposed to be an L. Just
okay.
Slight typo.
Okay. So, Mr. Rendell, in person, right?
Wouldn't miss it.
Welcome.
Thank you. I did prepare a presentation that staff have, and that might keep me on track.
I think we'd like to see it.
No, it's the presentation, not my planning report. Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. Okay. So my name is Martin Rendell, 35 Delburn Drive, Toronto. I'm a registered professional planner. I'm the authorized agent for these applications. Next slide, please. The consent application here is to split the existing lot into 2 equal 7.62 meter frontage lots and construct a new detached home on each lot. So there'll be 2 dwellings on each lot. The variances relate to lot frontage and lot area for each lot, and the other variances relate to the houses to be built on the lots. Next, please. This table here shows the 11 variances that are proposed. The first two, as I said, are lot area, lot frontage, side yard setbacks, maximum height of exterior walls, number of stories, height of the front pedestrian entrance, building length and depth, maximum FSI, and platform encroachment. And I'll speak to these briefly if time allows. Next, please. And this is all detailed in my more extensive planning report. We worked with city staff on the initial application, and as a result of that, the FSI came down, the setbacks were changed, improved from the point of view of staff, as well as length and depth were altered. That then led to, and you have this memo, planning staff saying that the consent is consistent with 5124 and that the variances meet the 4 tests. So they have no concerns about planning nature. Transportation has no concerns, and development engineering is the standard conditions. There's also a report you have from urban forestry recommending a deferral in order for us to demonstrate that the tree on the neighbor's property will be protected. I had expected that urban forestry would have issued the standard condition where you have a neighboring tree within a tree protection zone, that of course you get forestry approval for the tree protection area, et cetera. So they have indicated, and if you don't defer it, that you impose the standard condition, which I'm in agreement with, and I think that's just normal protocol. Next, please. Harding Avenue, I've shown here, there's 18 similar approvals here. So in the language of the official plan, similar lots, similar consents, similar houses are a substantial presence in terms of the character and lot fabric on Harding Avenue. And in fact, you can see our lot is in between 8 other lots that have the same lot width, similar types of dwellings, etc. So I don't see this in any way as a precedent. In fact, it's consistent with the type of development, the evolution of Harding Avenue and its character. Next, please. For the record, these are statistics on those. And again, you can see 7.62 meters is the common lot frontage and comparable lot areas. Next, please, because I'm running out of time. I've included pictures of these houses, and by now I think these are a familiar building form to you on applications. And if you look at the front elevation of our proposed houses, consistent with this integral garage, 2 floors of living space above that. Next, please. In terms of the planning evaluation, in terms of 5124, I agree with planning. This meets all the tests. It's not premature. It's a fully serviced lot, conforms with the official plan, and is suitable for residential. Next. Turning to the variances, in my opinion, it does satisfy all of the neighborhood criteria 415 of the official plan, and I've detailed those in my planning letter. The lot pattern's consistent. The height complies with the bylaw. There's no variance for height. The massing of the FSI is accommodated within the 3-dimensional envelope. There's a modest increase in building depth of, beyond 19 meters. And the side yard setbacks of 0.9 and 0.6 alternating are consistent with what's been approved on others. Next. The general intent of the bylaw as well is maintained in terms of the height of the main walls. This remains a slope-proof house. It complies with the maximum building height. The additional main wall height is simply to allow rooms in the second floor to have the minimum legal floor-to-ceiling separation. The 2-story variance is a technical variance because our basement is extended above grade. Building counts that as a full story, whereas the main, I think you're familiar with this type of variance.
Yeah, we're going to get you to wrap up, and sure. I do have some
questions. The FSI, if you exclude the basement, is 0.66. The maximum is 0.6. Next slide, quickly. General intent of the bylaw. If you don't mind, I'll skip these in the interest of time. They're minor. It's about the front door. In my opinion, as a planner, these variances are desirable and appropriate. It's new housing in an existing neighborhood with a substantial presence of similar homes that have been represent intensification. And lastly, these variances are minor because there is no, in my opinion, as a planner, planning impact of an adverse nature.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So just wanted to clarify, you've made some revisions subsequent to the initial submission. I think on variance 5, there's just a wording change. And I'm trying to understand variance 8, 9, 10 were highlighted as revisions, but there's no, I don't see any change from the original. So
They were just split up into individual variances because they're different requests.
I see.
For
Okay.
height, right?
So the only change is the wording change in variance 5, where the word both is crossed out.
Just for
deleted?
that one, yes.
Okay. So in the event of approval, we're still going as amended?
Yeah, the variances didn't change. We were just cleaning them up
Okay.
so that they would be
Okay,
clearer.
just wanted to understand that. Yeah, that was it. So any questions from panel members? No? Okay, and is there anyone else to speak to this item?
No, Mr. Chair.
No, okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll take it into committee then. Any discussion, or if anyone's ready for a motion? So quite a few more variances than the first one, but most of the variances seem quite minor.
Yes, so if there is no further comment, I would like to move a motion for approval for the consent and the 2 variance applications, as I believe it meets the 4 tests, subject to, I lost my page.
For forestry, I would suggest just putting in, making it as per forestry.
I was just going to mention forestry. They can
Well,
figure it out.
Yeah, exactly, because yeah.
Yeah, there's variations there as well as development engineering. And I would also like to note, excellent presentation and good summary.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dalton. Is there a seconder?
If I could just ask, the development, engineering, and transportation review conditions were included in the motion?
Yes.
Were they? Okay. Then I will gladly second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there, no, we don't need a thirder, sorry. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, sir. Okay, 17. Item 18, 8 Denison Road West. This is an application that was deferred from August the 15th and February 6th. This application to construct a new fourplex. There are 3 variances being requested. Forestry is requesting conditions 2 and 3. Metrolinx has advisory comments. And Andrea Christoph is the agent.
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute her now.
Good afternoon. It's Andrea Christoph. I am at 28 Shannon Street in Toronto, and I represent Villa Architect as an agent for the owner.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we need a full presentation. I don't know if you can give us a brief summary and then just open it up for questions.
Certain. I just want to my quick little talk with a note that I'm having trouble with the audio. It keeps cutting out. Hopefully it won't do it for me again. Basically, my client purchased the in 2007, and it was uninhabitable and has since been sitting there for probably over 10 years without a hydro or water connection. So it's a
Okay, we're kind of losing you. Lost. Sorry.
fourplex offering for the city.
Sorry, Andrew, we're just having a
I'd
quite
like to point
technical
out
difficulty.
that adjacent to, immediately adjacent,
Andrea, sorry, we kind of missed the last few points you made.
zoned a resident apartment.
Andrea, can you hear us?
Hi, can you hear us at all? Because we can't hear you right now.
Andrea, can you hear us?
Okay, let's hold that down.
I can hear you now.
Okay, we're having trouble hearing you. Can you try calling in using the instructions sent? Using a phone?
Yes, I did, and it cut out as well. So I will try.
It's fine now.
No.
Okay, keep going. We can hear you now.
To point out that the immediate adjacent properties are zone A, residential apartment. That would be number 2 Denison, and number 1652 Weston Road, 1650 Weston Road, and 1644 Weston Road. And we're asking for 3 minor variances for the property.
Okay, can you hear us now? I'm going to take that as a no. Let's come back to this. I had one question, but I don't think I'm going to get an answer.
Yeah, so Andrea, if you can just try to call in or just fix your audio. We're just having trouble maintaining your voice, so.
Okay, let's hold it down. We'll come back. Okay, so item 19 is our next item on the agenda.
However, my client
Okay, I'll leave it with you to try to sort it out, and then we'll go through the next item and then come back. Okay, so item 19, 44 the Kingsway. This is an application to construct 2 3-story dormers on the front of the existing dwelling and an attached garage in the rear yard. There is 1 variance being requested, which is FSI. Planning has a condition in the event of, or was requesting a condition in the event of approval, and forestry is requesting refusal, or in the alternative, forestry condition 2 regarding a private tree. And Craig?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, Craig Ritz at CAR Design Studio, 53 Chauncey Avenue, agent for the owners.
Okay, I don't think we need a full presentation unless anyone's, no. So perhaps if you could just hang there for questions. Are you good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. If there's any questions, please go ahead. I'm going to pull up the item in the meantime. So anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Perfect.
Just a quick question. You're okay with the community planning condition?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so if anyone's ready for a motion, we'll take that as well.
I'll table a motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
satisfied that the, I guess it's a single variance, isn't it?
Yep.
Meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act. I move approval subject to urban forestry condition 2 and the community planning condition.
Okay, seconder.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do we still have Andrea? Or?
So she currently logged off, so I just sent her the instructions to call in.
Okay, so let's do another item.
Yep.
So number 20, this was deferred from February, and it's 2115 Kipling Avenue. This is an application to legalize and maintain the ancillary structure, a shed, and the covered patio in the rear yard. There are 3 variances being requested, 2 of which have been revised and reduced. Transportation has a comment regarding a encroachment, and that's the only thing I have. So, Marco Vieira, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Marco Vieira. I'm at 257 Dunraven Drive.
Okay, I don't think we need a full presentation here. Can you just give us a brief overview?
Certainly, through Mr. Chair. The application was deferred from February the 20th because we were currently in discussions with planning. Priority, 2 sticking points for them was the lot coverage as a result of the shed and covered patio being added to the area of the existing garage. So as a whole, we decided to reduce the proposed covered patio to then improve that variance. And then the other item was for soft landscaping. So we significantly increased the soft landscaping by having the client remove quite a bit of the newly installed interlocking. This was a result of misguidance from contractor, and we found ourselves in a very hard predicament. So convinced the client to give up some of the interlocking and therefore increasing the soft landscaping from 26% up to 39.5%. And we believe that the changes that we have made are more in keeping with the bylaw and makes this application approvable in our opinion, and it meets the 4 tests.
Thank you, Marco. Is your client aware of this potential easement? Sorry, not potential, but of the potential encroachment with the easement?
We are aware of the easement in the back, but that has to do with access being granted to Bell and Rogers.
Okay, but as long as they're aware of it, we're not going to get into it.
Yeah, they are.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions? No? And there are no other speakers?
No, Mr. No, Mr. Chair.
Take it into committee then, if anyone's ready for a motion.
So with that, I'd like to move a motion for approval and good call on increasing the landscaping. And I'd move a motion for approval as it meets the 4 tests and there are no conditions.
Okay, so that would be as amended?
As amended.
Okay,
Correct.
and is there a seconder?
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Vieira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Thank you. Okay, do we have connectivity yet?
So she did reconnect, so I can try to connect. Let's see if it works.
So back to item 18. Yep. 8 Denison Road West.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute her. It's not even letting me out. I keep trying.
Yes, hello, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My apologies for our technical issues.
We can hear you now.
Well, that's good. I'm speaking on my telephone. Yes, we've been twice deferred for this project. I think the last deferral was a bit of a misunderstanding. Planning had said that I had requested it, which was not at all the case.
Okay.
We also revised the drawings to reduce the variances and change the roof line at the request of the planning department.
Okay.
I feel that what we are requesting is rather minor. We are adjacent to commercial zoning and or residential apartment, and immediately to the east is a commercial building which houses a television studio.
Okay, so number 10 is a multiplex?
Number 2 is a commercial building.
Okay, but
number 10 is a residential building.
Okay. I just have one question, and that pertains to variance 1, your side yard setback. That's only for a portion of the building, is that correct?
A very small portion at the rear, because the lot is an irregular lot. Yes.
So you wouldn't be opposed to us tying to a site plan for that variance?
No.
Okay.
That wouldn't be onerous, I suppose. Yep.
Yeah, or a statement saying that the variance is only for the rear X number of yards or whatever it is.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 meters, yes.
Okay. Just don't want to give you a
Correct.
blanket a blanket variance.
For the whole thing.
For the whole thing.
Yeah, it's actually, it's actually 3 meters.
So is it
at the rear?
The rear 3 meters?
Yes, on the east side. East. It's actually 3.9 meters.
Okay, let's go 4 meters.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, just wanted to get an idea on that. Thank you. Are there any other questions of the applicant? No?
No. The only point I'd like to address is that forestry has requested a street tree, and my client is amenable to that. There are no trees currently on the property.
Well, they're also requesting condition 2, which is protection of a private tree, so they seem to think there is a tree.
No, there are no trees on the property. The one tree that appears to be on the property is actually overhanging the property, but is actually on 1650 Weston Road.
Okay, so they're probably just asking you to do a tree protection zone on that. So that's, I'm assuming you're okay
yeah,
with
we could do that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And there's no other speakers on this?
No.
Okay, so let's take it into committee.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve this application. I believe it addresses the 4 tests, and I believe there's an easement reference, which we discussed, and there is a tree protection zone issue, which we've discussed. I believe those could be conditions.
So there's not an easement. It's
Well, it's Metrolinx, right?
well, that's just advisory comments, so we don't impose those. I forgot to mention that, sorry, because with all of the disconnect, I kind of lost my place there.
Okay, and the tree protection zone.
So forestry conditions 2 and 3 would cover what they're looking for. And if you are so inclined, I would suggest that you could tie it to site plan with regards to variance 1, or say that variance 1 only applies to the rear 4 meters of the property?
I would say site, attached to site plan.
Okay.
I move to approve on that basis.
Thank you, Ms. Povic. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you very much, and my apologies for
No
the
worries.
IT issue.
Okay,
Have a
we've
good
had them. We've
afternoon.
had them on our end as well.
Bye-bye.
So.
Okay, thank you very
Thanks.
much. And is that decision going to be mailed?
It will be emailed.
It will be emailed. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think we're on to item 21. Okay, good. So 9 ELSTREE Road. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 2 variances being requested. And there are no city department comments. This is an application that was deferred from April of 2025. And Alan Diaz is the agent online.
Yes, good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Alan Diaz, 2326 Berwick Avenue in Markham. I'm the agent for the owner of number 9 ELSTREE Road.
Thank you. And I just want to make a comment that your explanation letter covers the revisions from the original very nicely.
Thank you.
So I don't think we need a presentation. If you're just open to questions, we'd like to just proceed on that basis.
All right, sure.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. I just wanted to ask, you requested a deferral in April, so you had more time to discuss matters with the neighbor at 7 ELSTREE. So I'm assuming that the 2 variances that you're seeking address all of their concerns?
Yes, they do.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No. And are we ready for a motion?
So with that, I do believe the application is a good one and would move a motion for approval as it meets the 4 tests and there are no conditions.
I can second that motion.
Thank you, Laura. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Thank you, Alan. Okay. So our last item for the day, number 22, which is 176 Donald Avenue. This is an application to construct a 3rd-story addition above the existing dwelling and a new garden suite in the rear yard. There are 2 variances being requested, one of which has been reduced. We have a letter of objection from number 77, Donald, and that's all we have. Mr. Federico?
Yes, Daniel Federico.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, if we can get your address, and then I think we would like to get a presentation on this.
Sure. So my full name is Daniel Federico. I am the director owner of the corporation that currently owns 176 Donald Avenue in North York. And my application is to request a addition to the, as you mentioned, to the existing 3rd story, additional story to the existing dwelling, also to construct a garden suite in the back. We're requesting 2 minor variances, the first being the number of dwelling units. The dwelling units currently are being operated as 3. It was operated that way from when I purchased the property in 2023. I believe the current zoning does allow for 4 units, plus an ancillary unit So the request is to add an additional unit to the existing footprint to be constructed on top of the existing top floor. And this is in accordance with the City of Toronto basically looking to add additional housing. The area itself is seeing is very much transit oriented with the construction of the Eglinton LRT and the Caledonia station. So I believe that this will add additional units to the area as more interest and more residents are drawn to the area. So with respect to the request that we're looking for, is we're looking to construct an additional unit above that is mirroring the existing units that are below it.
Okay.
The second, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'll let you finish, then I'll do the questions. Go ahead.
I was going to get on to the second variance. I don't know if we wanted to, the variance with regards to the soft landscaping, which was the reason for the deferral is that I had in, I believe it was April. We've been dealing with the committee members that was originally requested for a soft landscaping at 15%, but we were able to work with the planner and zoning bylaw to be able to currently amend it to 35.4% by adding the landscaping area and permeable pavers to the design.
Okay, thank you. So my question, if you're done, is
yes.
You're adding a fourth unit to the main structure and plus the garden suite. You're not adding a fifth unit to the main structure. Is that correct?
Correct. So an additional unit to make it a total of 4 in addition to the garden suite.
So it'll be 5, including the garden suite.
Correct.
Okay. And you've done this on a waiver. So I just want to confirm that you're comfortable that you don't need an east yard setback on this?
Correct. We've gone through the review with the zoning department quite in depth. It was recommended from the last hearing that we go back to them, and we've worked with them for the past several weeks, and I'm good with that waiver.
So you do. So do you have a zoning review?
I do. Yes. It was provided to us after they reviewed the setback. It was recommended by the committee on the last hearing that we go back to have it reviewed.
No, I understand that, but we don't have that information. So I'm just curious why you didn't submit it and why you're still going under waiver.
Okay, we do have that. Yes.
Okay, so then you have a comfort there, and you don't, and there's no height variance being requested.
No.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. Any other questions? No. We have another speaker on this item?
Yes, Mr. Chair. They're online.
Okay. Good afternoon. Demetrios?
Yeah, hi there.
Hi.
So, hi there. How you doing, Chair and Board? My name is Demetrios Kriegels. I'm the late son of Tom Kriegels and Stementina Kriegels, who live next door at 178 Donald Avenue on the west side. We also own the house at 172 Donald Avenue.
Okay.
Although this is not my expertise in this field, I've done some research and I have spoken to certain colleagues in this field. So I just want to bring up a few points. It won't take very long, and then I can leave it to the board and to the chair. I'm not opposing the project, but merely would like to mirror or replicate this project possibly in the future on my property as well. However, I do have some concerns with the variance and permissions of this project, and these are my following concerns. I'm aware of the 3 up to 3 dwelling policy that's been passed in legislation. Adding another 4th floor would fall under the MR zoning in this area. However, the zoning bylaw requires that the property have a minimum lot frontage of 12 meters. I believe it's in section 10.80.3012. This would be excessive and a little bit overdeveloped. I'm quite confused with the garden suite. It's defined as a dwelling unit. I'm not sure why the examiner would state this as a dwelling unit on this particular site. Chapter 150 states that the garden suite must have a minimum requirement bylaw of 1.36 meters setback on both sides. I'm on the west side, So this would have great impact on my side. Obviously on the east side, it would be the neighbor's issue that might create a building permit issue in the future. And my last one is, I think it was brought up on the last meeting, but it was adjourned on the soft landscaping matter. I think that's been addressed. The only concern that I have for the backyard would be more than, we share a mutual driveway. In the past, there's a lot of snow that obviously develops at the back there. This year, especially, there was 2 big snowstorms. The tenants, had a tough time moving or dumping the snow, and they were dumping it over the fence where this garden suite is proposed. So I'm just wondering, where is the snow going to be put or dumped? Like, I think that's somewhat concerning. In closing, a structure failing to comply with building regulations or lacking integrity can lead to significant consequences, including potential structure failure, safety risks, and legal repercussions. These would be my concerns, I guess, for this matter, and I'll leave it to the chair and to the board to look at the variances. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you specifically sum up what your main concerns are?
My main concern would be, I guess, the setback at the back there where the garden suite is proposed.
Because I don't think there's
requirement of.
I don't think he's asking for variance for the setback.
Okay, so I'm just okay.
So just coming back to what he is asking for, and then if you have any concerns, let me just get this thing to big up. Hold on. Yeah, no, there is a landscaping deficiency, although they're improving it from what was originally being requested in April. So the other, and then it's the number of units. It's going from 4 to 5. That's the only other variance. So do you have any issues with that?
Well, based on I guess with another floor adding, was there a minimum frontage allowed in that? I'm not sure. I'm just.
Well, that's why I asked him whether he did the zoning, whether he had a zoning review or whether he's going by a waiver, because I thought there was other potential variances here as well. And if he's missed any, then he's going to have to come back to us. So
yeah, so those would be my first one would be the minimum frontage of 12 meters, and then I guess he's got to do that review. I'm not sure.
And so he's going to almost 35% rear landscaping now as opposed to 15. So you're okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So you're okay with the 2 variances that are here, but you have concerns whether there may be some missing, which is my concern as well, but I leave that to the applicant. Okay, perfect.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we can get the applicant back, unless there's questions no, okay. Daniel?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So I think your neighbor has the same sort of potential concerns that I have is, have you missed some variances here, but you feel comfortable you haven't?
Yes, because it was brought to my attention in the last hearing to go back to have that reviewed, and we did go with the zoning review. The manager at length was requesting that he review it, so we are confident.
Okay. So, Barb, why would we not be getting a copy of the zoning review? Because he wouldn't have submitted it?
No, it was submitted, and we submitted everything to the administrator. I mean, it was a communication between all of us. So I'm not sure why that was there, because that waiver was supposed to be included. That was one of the main reasons why we were also deferred.
Yes, we have the waiver.
I can definitely provide that.
We have the waiver. The committee's asking why you didn't get a zoning review.
Why didn't you get a zoning review? I have it in front of me. I'm not sure. From my understanding, it was forwarded off to Nicole. I was CC'd on the email. I have it in front of me. I'm not sure why it wasn't provided or why you don't have a copy of it.
April 11th.
Where is it?
It's in the package.
On the previous packet?
Yeah. April 11th, 2025, right?
Yeah, there was no need for any further adjustments after that.
No, but we have a waiver dated May 22nd. Or May 20th at the bottom.
Right.
Okay.
So is the waiver the same as the April 11th review?
Correct. It was waived initially, but then we were asked to relook at it again after the hearing, and
Oh,
they
increased
determined
the
that there was
soft
no further
landscape.
action.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Why can't I find it? Oh, it's the additional material.
No, the previous material.
Other business, no.
That's your bookmarks?
Yeah.
There you go. So fourth item down, fifth item down. After folders.
Here, okay. Revised zoning review, got it. Okay, now I got it. So there was a zoning review done, okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and that's the only two items, okay. All right, I'm good then. Thanks, yeah. So let's take it into committee then for decision. I didn't go back far enough.
So with that, I'd move a motion for approval, as I believe the application meets the 4 tests and there are no conditions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dalton.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. As amended, yeah. Because one of them has been reduced, right? Okay, all in favor? Okay, that's approved unanimously. Okay, thank you, Daniel. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, we need our next motion.
My favorite motion, which is, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. It is now 2:52 p.m.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned at 2:52 p.m. Thank you. Thank you to staff.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.